Oh, okay. So you went to your vacation home?
I did.
All right, we ready to roll?
Good. Passing over to YouTube right now. Redirecting.
Okay.
Good.
Bringing people in. Excellent, perfect. Okay, greetings, everybody. It's nice to see everybody after the last snowstorm, and when I say last, I mean last of the season, so it's good. My name is John Lohr. I am the FinCom Chair, and I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, March 4th of 2026 at 7 o'clock. We're actually right on time. Before we get started, I'd like to have all the members introduce themselves, starting off to my far left. Pete Perugi. Yeah.
Gilmore?
Joyce Moriarty.
Michael Crum. Eric Martinson. Mark Townsend. Perfect. Jen Zaretsky and Brett are missing this meeting, so we're aware of that. So the crew we have tonight. Few reminders here before we get going. You can access the Finance Committee meeting on your local access channel at home, Comcast Channel 6, Verizon Channel 38. You can also go to the website at militsmedia.org, and it's live streaming on YouTube. And just like the other committees and boards, you can come here in person if you wish and watch it live. All the material that we review during the meeting tonight will be found on the FinCom webpage on the Millis site. And last time, so we've been out of touch because of the snowstorm last week and then school vacation the week before. And then the week before that, we did not have Millis Media, which means we did not have these microphones. So for all those members, you have to just remember you have to be 4 inches away from the mic. So we'll remind you in case you're more than that. But we have a good agenda tonight. Some great departments coming in here. So we're going to start off with police. So come on down, Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
1 second.
Sure. So just a reminder, Chief, have you met any of the new members yet here?
Yes.
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 Hopefully
here and not on the road. But
Yeah, either or. As we go through the budget and the different forms, I just might ask you to explain things a little bit more in depth than we may usually do.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 20 minutes.
4 inches from the mic.
20 minutes. For the folks that were on the committee, on the board last year, much of it's the same.
Yeah.
The numbers are just bigger, than last year. So I'm gonna quickly go over achievements in 25, budgeting for the upcoming year, staffing, scheduling, and training. This year for grants, every year, I always do a slide for all the grant money that we bring in, and bring in a fair amount of money. This particular year, we had $3,000 grant to have an outside agency come in, third party, to audit the evidence room. We've had that done each year since 2016. And they've been asked with flying colors, so that's huge. We got a bulletproof vest grant. We get that every year, so we don't have to pay for a bulletproof vest for anybody every 5 years. That's the shelf life on a bulletproof vest. And we have them spread out enough where we rotate them and they're paid for. Dispatch training grant, they have Con Ed that they have to do it each year. Get that funded, and $34,389 for technology and equipment grant through state 911. Most of that money goes to the IT in each cruiser. So the mobile data terminals, the laptops in the car, the printers, etc. Those are big money items, and we have a replacement schedule for those as well. So we do half the fleet. Each time we replace them, half the fleet 1 year, half the fleet the following year. Traffic enforcement grant, that's kicking up this month. We got $20,000. So that's pedestrian bike safety, speed, distracted driving, drunk driving, where we put additional officers on the street. Paid for through this grant for the next year. School safety signage, we received money to increase the signage behind Clyde Brown and the front lot or lower lot of Clyde Brown, Mass Vesta Dog for our canine, Nitro, and the med deposit box in the lobby. We don't pay to have that disposed of. So that came in around 94,543.26, and since 2017, we brought in 831,000. In that time, we've replaced tasers, handguns, radios, portables, etc.
And that number is similar to the prior year, maybe inflated a little bit, the grant amount, the 94K.
It's actually less,
It is less?
yeah.
Okay.
Just under 10.
Okay,
And it's not that they reduced the grants, it's just we didn't get picked for one in particular.
okay.
This number's up from last year significantly. So generated revenue through the police department back to the town, the detail, admin fee. So anytime a police officer works a private job, not including any town work, there's a percentage for an admin fee for processing. License to carry, those are up this year. Police reports and solicitor fees, this year it was 50,000 and change, whereas the previous year was 35,000. So that was a substantial increase from the year before. This is our organizational chart. If you're not familiar with the PD, we have 5 sergeants, patrol sergeants, we have an administrative sergeants, and they all have various responsibilities that the patrol officers help supplement. Overtime line in the packet. The overtime line is our vacation time, the personal days, the compensation days. So comp time is, instead of taking the overtime, you can hold that in lieu of getting paid for comp time. Sick, court, investigations, on-the-job injuries, and specialized training. Mandated training and overtime. Several years ago, post, I'm sure your police reform, post, etc. All our police officers are certified through post. As part of that, we have mandated training that we have to go to. We're just not certified. 40 hours of in-service. We have 12 hours of less lethal training a year for the various tools that we also carry. The BAT, that's a breathalyzer machine. 16 hours of firearms training to include handgun, shotgun, rifle, specialized training, prisoner watch, suicide prevention, applied patrol, and BOLARAP. Anybody has any questions, just feel free. Current staffing at the PD, there's myself, I have a part-time assistant, 6 sergeants, 12 patrol officers, 4 full-time dispatchers, and 3 part-time dispatchers. These specialized positions, just so there's no confusion, all of these folks that fill these specialized positions are on the road. They work a shift, but this is added responsibility while they're out on the road.
We have all the positions in the previous slide. Officers are assigned to various sub-positions here, correct?
We have a K-9 officer. We upped the license to carry officers to 3, just due to the volume of folks coming in. We have a court officer, an assistant court prosecutor, motorcycle officer, SWAT, crisis negotiator, 5 crime scene techs, 4 sexual assault investigators, 1 SRO who also doubles as the juvenile detective, which has really streamlined any issues that we have in the school.
She's amazing.
So like anything that happens in the school, it's one-stop shopping. It doesn't get passed on through the whole department. It's handled by Detective Maganello right in the school. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
3 firearms instructors. Those firearms instructors are to instruct our officers. 4 field training officers. We have a dispatcher who's in charge of IT for police technology. 2 drone pilots and the 2 detectives. Any questions on those positions?
I just
Go ahead.
I have a question as far as the IT dispatcher. Has there been any conversation about having the municipal and the police IT person? Can it be a shared?
So
uh,
Garen, who is our IT dispatcher, all our portable radios, cruiser radios, he programs them like, so by IT, that's just, that's what he does and has
Okay.
done, and he's really good at it. It ends up saving us money because we don't have to send up the radios out to have them programmed.
We might get into a little bit in the budget, but since we're on the technology front, so you have the grants giving you the technology and the cruisers. You have the IT dispatcher, which are doing radios. And then, we were talking to Jim Donovan at a prior meeting. Are you guys getting together
Yeah, that's what
internally on
So everything else,
the text, like at the station, I guess is what I'm saying?
everything else, Jim Donovan.
He does.
Oh, okay.
100%. So like basically in dispatch, there's
Yeah.
a number of items that are kind of out of his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
And more for somebody else and, but he's been great. He
Okay.
handles literally everything else.
gotcha. I'm with you.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when Jim
You gotta speak
presented,
into the mic.
he talked about the ICM system he's working on with you. What is the ICM system?
So, that's a record management system. So any call that comes through the police department, it gets logged. It is the police log. It generates all the arrest reports, incident reports. It collects all the data. And within the last year or 2, there's been server failures, like not just here, but across the board. And they're in the process of converting that to a cloud-based system, which will be much easier to manage and less of a chance of it going down like it has been.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to add on, is that this year? That you're migrating to the cloud on that or fiscal year 27 or beyond?
After July 1, yeah.
After July 1, okay. Go ahead, Pete. Do you have a question?
I suspect you have, Guard and Reserve members. Do you have anybody deployed?
Not currently. So. Every year, supplementary budget request. Usually I come in asking for 3. But this year, I'm requesting 2 and I'll get into it as to why. But, the median number of officers in comparable communities is 22 right now. Couple of years ago, it was 21. We're still at 18 and haven't changed. It's 2.5 police officers per 1,000 is a recommended number of police officers for a population through the FBI. We're pushing 10,000 people in town right now, which if you went with that formula, we should have 25, right? So my concern is where the population is still continuing to grow. We haven't grown. And now, there's several police departments that have added people in the last few years. So now the gap between us and the median is now getting wider. So at some point, it's gonna become a problem where we're really having to catch up. And I think this is year 7 or 8, where I've been requesting folks and, the fire chief and myself were in here when all the new construction, there wasn't even shoveling around, and we were required to come up with numbers, like, what do you think the call increase is gonna be? So we did, and we were way off. We undershot it, and we should have put a much bigger number because, like the anthology, and I have the slides here, the calls are substantial.
Yeah, sorry, keep going, I'm not trying to interrupt, but if you could walk us through each slide, I think it says a lot in terms of what you
Sure.
guys do.
So, this slide represents everything from 2012. And why did I start at 2012? Because that's as far back as I can get data from, like good data. So I just keep adding to this every year, and you can see the steady climb. And right now, we're knocking on like 20,000 logged incidents, calls to service, whatever comes into that's everything. That's the whole kit and caboodle, but it keeps increasing. And area departments, so how did I get these? These are the towns, that the town utilizes as comps for the union contracts. So, the police, we've used these towns for years. As you can see, 22 is the median, 18, we're kind of behind. We're towards the bottom for sure, and we could definitely use at least 2. Because right now, what I'm trying to do is, we have a number of midnight shifts that run with just 2 officers, and you can't run it with 1. If somebody takes the night off, or out sick. Regardless, if they take the night off, the bigger thing is officer safety, like 3 is the number. And that is a good number to have on a shift, because in today's day and age with mental health, there's so many tools that we have at our disposal. Like, you need to have, I'm not gonna get into it, but like, you need to have lethal coverage, less lethal coverage, contact officer, supervisor. There's a lot going on for just a couple people. So trying to build this out so that 1, people get their time off, 2, they're safe, and 3, run it like it should be run. Questions on any of the comparable departments?
Go ahead, Pete.
Chief, what I find compelling is not where you compare to other departments. I think it's what you just said. And in my opinion, you buried your lead in that you're accepting risk when you don't have the members that you need in your lowest shifts. I mean, I'm sure there are other places that you're accepting risk. And me as a committee member, when I vote, it would be because I understand that. And I would recommend that when you are asked, that you be able to describe where you're accepting risk in the most important places. I'm sure there are other places too, so.
Sure. I mean, like anything else over the years, probably the last 6 or 7 years, policing's changed and the tools have changed. Tools available to the police officers have changed. And if you looked in a police cruiser 10 years ago compared to what's in them today, night and day, right? Because I keep saying mental health because we deal with it every day. And those are some of the most dangerous calls. And obviously you want to bring a peaceful resolution to a hostile situation and get them the help they need, right? And you want them to go get help, and you also want to have your police officers go home at the end of the night unscathed. So that's kind of the whole reasoning behind
Go
it.
ahead, Mike.
Chief, if you were to get 2 more officers, how would that impact your overtime budget? Would it go down?
So here's the thing. There's like, I'm gonna give you a couple answers. One, it's not gonna go down. And because of the fact, like, the department's growing. So for me to say that it's gonna reduce overtime, that wouldn't be true. Because we're adding staff to the police department, right? Occasionally you might get a couple shifts where somebody takes the day off and you don't need to fill it. But the variable is the overtime number in the overtime line represents the available amount of overtime that I should spend. It's not the number that we ask for. because the number that we really asked for is based on the fact that we usually have at least 1 to 2 police officers out a year, right? I'm pushing, I got on the police department in 98. And since then, we've never been fully staffed. Somebody has always been out. So to answer your question, when a police officer's out injured, that generates overtime anyways. So there is no savings. Right? That's my own opinion, because we end up going over overtime because we have a number of people out, right? And yeah, I mean, when you grow a police department, it's gonna cost money.
So it's not a direct offset in terms of adding a staff and then reducing overtime.
No,
Yeah,
it just doesn't, it never worked like that. I mean, I could say yes.
yeah.
It's-
Go ahead, Mark.
Do you happen to know the metrics for the comparable communities that were chosen? I know it says, as identified by the town of Millis. Were those incidents, population?
I would have to defer to the town, meaning not me, because like there's a bunch of various departments that they use those comps. for.
Okay, just having Bellingham on here, that's twice the size of Millis.
Yeah, thank you, go ahead.
Chairman, thank you. Mike Kaczynski, Town Administrator. Just to add a little color to that on the comparable communities. We had a company come in a while back, HR Gov Consulting. They did various salary wage surveys for the town. And they looked at a number of factors to do comparables as far as for the wage study. And they found a lot of similarities between a lot of the communities. Certainly there are some population differences in road mileage and so forth, but they considered them comparable communities.
Is it the same list for across the board for all departments?
We try to stay pretty consistent in the list of comparable communities we use. It's a little bit as much of an art form as it is a science, so certainly anyone could maybe look at an outlier or say, well, maybe this one town or another town is different in certain ways. But company took a look at, the region, 20 or 30 communities in a broader region, and came up with communities that thought best fit similarities in the town of Millis.
Okay, thank you.
I got a question, you have a question?
I just want to make a comment.
Yeah.
Those communities are also on the Millis website. There's a little square on the homepage that says Millis Financials. And if you click into that, you go into ClearGov and you can get the list of all of the comparable communities that were set back then.
I only say it because potentially the police department has different comparables. Incidents might be a good metric. Where if we're doing it across the board, might not really reflect that.
Yeah, I couldn't speak to the number of incidents in area communities. I refer that to the chief, and I don't know how deeply that went, but again, there's a lot of different statistics from the different towns that go into looking at comparables. But I couldn't speak to it directly to the police department.
On that note, do they revise that comparable? Do they update the variable that they compare on every 5 years or
Yeah.
10 years or?
Yes, this latest one was done about 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay,
So this search and decision on which towns to pick was done about 3 years ago.
they try to keep it fresh. Joyce, do you have a question?
I do. Is there a number of police officers that would offset the overtime? Like you said, if you added 2, it's not going to, but have you done a comparison as to how many officers you would need? So that overtime wouldn't be an issue?
Yes, but like to achieve what I think what you're saying,
It would be a lot of,
that'd be 5.
okay.
I'll take 5.
You can ask for whatever you want.
The more officers we have, the more likely that more than one would be out over a year or 2, so that could then, throw everything off too, as you said. Yep.
Yeah.
Continue, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's driving the need? I brought up, just a few of these, areas last year. Just for examples, Anthology. We had 162 calls for service at Anthology for 111 hours of police services on site. How do I get these numbers in the IMC program? It logs, obviously, the number of times you go to an address, plus it logs the amount of time that a police officer is on scene and how many police officers are on scene. So when you clear, it generates this data. Toll Brothers, 131 incidents, 66 hours. Stony Brook, 114 hours, 314 calls for service. We have some new housing projects in the pipeline. Herman Shoe, I'm not sure what the status of that apartment complex is, but that's coming. The old Bada Bings at 1060 Main Street, that's due to open shortly. And the housing across from Tractor Supply, this development, the units across from there. 114 Union Street, which is Herman Shoe, again, that's 98 units that's going in there. 1060 Main Street has 24, Emerson Place, 48. So the supplementary budget request is, again, we're encroaching on 10,000 people in town, right? And the number's 2.5 police officers per 1,000. We're not there at the 25, but like I said, I do believe the days of running consistent midnight shifts with 2 police officers on them are over. Our 3 to 11s, we currently run 4 because they're busy and the day shift is busy as well. So the times come where we have to add, and I'm just curious as to when, how, like just even thinking beyond this year, like how are we gonna plan to add additional personnel? Because anytime with all this building, it's just not the police it affects us, the fire department, the DPW, the town hall, everybody. But that's great that everybody's coming here to build and live, but we have to service all these folks too. So typically I ask for 3 for the last few years. I'm asking for 2. I understand there's a lot of stuff going on in town, but 2 is the number that I'd be asking for. It brings us up to 20, right? Again, we've struggled to keep pace with the other communities. And the other request is 1 lieutenant position. That's not an additional position. That is an elevation of someone that's already employed by the Millis Police Department. It would be an adjustment to their salary. Millis is the only town that doesn't have anything between the rank of sergeant and chief. It goes sergeant to chief. It should go sergeant, lieutenant, deputy chief, chief. That said, a lot of the smaller communities out here have just lieutenants and then chief. We don't have any, and legitimately, we're the only one. And there's a lot going on in this town. So adding a lieutenant position would focus the restructuring of supervision, not increasing the staffing for the police department. It would also allow for the redistribution of administrative responsibilities to support the continuity and reduce the single point dependency within the police department. And it builds in a plan for future leadership and a succession plan, because I will not be here forever.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So by adding that lieutenant position, does that mean you're really, if you get the 2 additional officers, does that mean you're really only gaining 1 because 1 gets promoted?
So 3 years ago, I had that lieutenant position would just replace the administrative sergeant position. So I'm not losing anybody in the pool on the
So
road.
it's like 2.5, it's 2 positions plus an upgrade. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like, yes.
Go ahead, Mike.
So could you break that down for us, the $290,000, how does that break down between the 2 new officers per year and then the upgrade for the lieutenant?
So it was 260 for 2 police officers, and that's everything, the insurance. I spoke with the finance director and asked what the all-in price was and not just the salary. So that's 260, and then I figured 30 just based on area comps for a $30,000 adjustment in the salary.
And would you need any additional vehicles if you get up another 2?
Getting there, that's my next step.
Lead in.
So
All right,
Sorry, you're 20 minutes.
I know, keep going, you're doing well, keep going.
I'm going. So yes, my request would be to replace the car, our current admin car. It's a 2013 Ford Taurus, which the administrative sergeant has been driving. That being said, I'm requesting the purchase of a new cruiser. So my cruiser then becomes the lieutenant's car. My cruiser is set up as an incident command post, and lieutenant is my de facto number 2. So they would have to have the same setup, but I already have one built out. So what I'm looking for is just the car, and I went consumer, like homeowner version car. I didn't get a police package. I just asked for a black Tahoe, and the outfitting of that cruiser would be done through grants. And for the new members of the board, I know that some of you folks have seen this. We have our own capital replacement plan for the police department for all the equipment that we have in-house. Probably 5 years ago, we finally got on a good replacement schedule for cruisers. So we replace typically 2 line cars a year, as opposed to, I think my first year here, we got 5. That was a tough year, but now we get 7 years out of all of them. Any questions? I went fast.
I got some questions, but go ahead.
Are we gonna go through the budget, the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Just have a couple questions on it, and it probably go back to, figures already arrived. I just look at the training budget. The training budget is going up, 7.
So,
Thanks, Grant.
yeah, hang on. So before we get into the budget, I have kind of 3 questions, 2 minimal and 1 a little bit bigger. So is the anthology still anthology, or has that place been renamed? So anthology?
I believe it's been renamed.
So, yeah, it's the residence.
Charles.
Okay, so, and then on the, looking through the forms that you have. The employment forms, we saw this in another department too, on your staffing history.
Yes.
I don't know if those numbers add up to the ones at the bottom.
Yeah, looks like it's 20, but it says 8.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's something in the system.
I don't know. I know the
I pointed out, that's all.
Okay.
Cause like there, it says 18 at the bottom, so you have like chief, assistant, sergeant, officer, and all the different numbers, 1, 1, 5, 13, et cetera. Yeah.
So those are showing as 20.
They don't add up at the bottom, they're too short.
But you don't have 20 staff,
See this one?
We have,
Yeah.
yes, we have 18 police officers.
18 police officers.
Yes.
So, this-
Okay.
so yeah, so
Yeah,
this,
it doesn't count, and
And this.
the admin doesn't count, okay.
Dispatch on there.
And it has police sergeant, police officers and chief, your admin also, so that would be 19. So there must be something,
I just pointed out, just as we're going through the material, just to make sure what you're requesting and the data is accurate, that's all.
Do we have it here, so I can show it?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, if you go back.
the first list says 20 and the second
This
list
says 18.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm- I'm not trying to nitpick, I'm just trying to,
It should be 20.
yeah,
I mean, because that captures,
Yeah.
that captures
yeah,
all the work there.
perfect. And I have one more question.
Yeah.
And one's part-time.
Okay, anyway.
Man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For, anthology or whatever it's called now, I apologize. Could you describe for us your typical involvement, the police department's typical involvement in a call? Are you just blazing a trail for the ambulance? Or are you administering first aid when you get there, or just, can you characterize that for those of us that don't know?
Sure, so officers have defibs, first aid kits, oxygen, and they're on the road on patrol, and you're gonna hear from the fire chief, those guys are out multiple times a day, multiple calls at the same time. So it could be, we're the first ones there waiting for an ambulance
So you could be
to come in from another.
life-saving, you could be life-saving until,
Yeah, they
you know,
absolutely, I mean, that's, the police officers work codes with the fire department.
good. Thank you. I don't think that that's well known to everybody. I mean, if I heard this and I did, be like, well, why does the police have to go? And I can figure it out, but I wanna hear it from you.
Sure, yes, that's what they go to the calls, for sure.
Are you required to,
Yeah,
by law, by,
we go to first responder training,
Yeah.
so yeah, and we're out there with all the equipment, for sure, definitely.
I'm sure we'll add in later. You can add in later. Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not putting, he wasn't putting her on the spot. He was asking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's fine.
We could,
I-
we can get into the budget now. So, there's a few line items here that I'm sure some of us have questions on. I know. Pete, what's your question?
The training line goes up by 60 grand. Is that portion of an officer? It's a salary, it's in wages, so it's wages training. Is that a portion of, a new officer's, wages or?
So the training, if you look and see the line that says training MJ,
Yes.
see how that's vacant?
Okay. Yep.
So that was the marijuana training portion money,
Mm,
so that's gone.
Yep.
But gotta
You put it on another line.
be absorbed.
and, is that the resource officer as well, or is that on a different line?
No, that is not the resource officer.
Okay,
That,
Yeah,
good.
do you, we have to do this. He controls everything. He's doing a great job. Do you think your overtime line is accurate? I'm not gonna hold you to it, but. 'cause
Yeah. That number,
So 300,000?
No, the 195.
that number is.
Okay.
I think that's accurate.
I just wasn't sure, because before I thought you said like, hey, that it's gonna be more, or.
No, well, I mean, usually after some of these meetings, they dwindle,
Sure,
and then
that's the
that's
select
when
board, that's
that's when
not.
it becomes more money, you know? So,
Understood. So on, beneath that, so we talked about training, okay, so that's the 104 increase. Is that absorbing the training MJ?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
correct.
and, a few lines above this, salaries, clerical wages from 31,000 up to 40,000. Like fourth line down,
Yes,
can you elaborate on that a little bit?
sure. She was, assistant was reclassed. Due to her job, and I went to the town and requested that because the fact that, given what she does for the department in comparison to some other jobs, she was getting paid far less for what she was doing. There's a lot of HIPAA records. She pays all the bills payable. She handles a lot of money, a lot of confidential personnel files, records, etc. And she does a fantastic job for the police department, and I went to the town and asked them.
Gotcha, thank you. And what about, third line in that section from the bottom, the stipends, that had a big jump up as well.
That would be contractual. What line are we looking at? Oh, just the stipend line?
Yeah,
So the police contract was signed last year. And there were a number of new stipends inserted into the contract.
What are the stipends?
Various jobs that officers do and things that they maintain within the police department. So they get compensated through a stipend.
go ahead, Eric.
Does the FY 27 numbers, does that include the 290,000? Cause I'm not seeing a step up in the wages line that I was expecting to see.
No, they wouldn't have it in yet because it's a request.
That's an above service.
Yeah, it's above service, so it's a request. It wouldn't be in his current budget.
Gotcha. Okay, that was a clarification I was looking
Is that all right if we answer that for you?
Yes, thank you.
Save the time.
for. Just relax.
Yes.
We got this.
Anyone else, just going on to the next page, holiday pay increase from 15K to 19K.
That's all contractual.
Actually,
Okay. So, will we see these same numbers increase by the same amount next year as well? The contractual numbers,
Yeah, but I think that after this year, it should
it tapers off,
level out.
okay.
And there's another stipend here.
Cause they have two more years left in the contract.
And so it looks like there's about an 11.9% increase from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27. We look at the 469K. All right,
And some of a couple of the officers got master's degrees,
okay,
so that bumped it. The education was big for a few of the officers.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the stipend for the dispatch and it went in FY 2025, $1,250 to 2026, 19,000 and now 19,300. So I apologize for asking why there's such a big jump.
So that's all contractual too, for stipends that were negotiated,
And that's for the dispatchers.
correct?
Can you tell me what kind of jobs that they do for these stipends?
Sure, so, the training coordinator, she's responsible for, training, onboarding new employees, the IT dispatcher. Also, I think most of you have been down there so we run one dispatcher, right? So they're also responsible for maintaining the security of the cameras, watching the prisoners in the cells. They have a lot going on, right? And what they got for stipends is comparable to other departments as well. So it's all for like additional work.
Above and beyond their
Yes,
regular
and
job.
They have a lot going on in there, and if you haven't been, you should go down and stick your head in and say hello, because there's a lot happening for one person.
Thank
They do a
you,
great job for us.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe we can set up a time and we can all come down at once,
Yeah,
set up individually or something like that. Go ahead, Mike.
I know a couple of years ago, we talked a little bit about the possibility of combining dispatch of fire and police. Is that something that's considered, or was there still a reason that shouldn't be?
Combined dispatch.
Yeah.
Police and fire,
Yeah,
so they currently dispatch.
is it all, is it,
Yes, sir.
okay, so is part of it's in your budget, part of it's all of it's in your budget?
Yes, sir,
None of it's in fire budget?
no.
Okay. All right.
You have a question?
One more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I also had a question on the night differential. What is that? Cause that also jumped a lot last year.
Correct, so if those that work 3 to 11, 3 at night to 11 at night, or the overnight, 11 p to 7 a. They got a percentage increase, for the night, so for the night shift differential, so if you work nights, which is evenings or overnights, you get a percentage on top of that.
Why the jump? Just more guys on for that shift overnight?
Contractual.
Probably.
Yeah, it's good, one, it's contractual, two, those are pretty, like, the midnight shifts, that's. It's a different type of shift other than, your typical day shift. So typically the night shift differential is higher for the overnight, workers.
Yeah, I get that. It was just a big jump.
Yeah, like I said, that next year, it shouldn't be this big, because this is going into year 2 of the contract.
That was okay.
I just have I don't have any questions, I just have a couple, open questions, if you will. So, is there anything beyond the budget that we're looking at here? Or is this? You cover everything you wanted to cover?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my question is, looking at the budget and that it's increased quite a bit from the prior fiscal year. Does it make sense to push off a cruiser or a position when those contracts will come down a little bit to smooth it out?
Does it make sense?
Yeah,
No, that would be my answer. I gotta be honest with you, for a number of years, we've been asking for personnel. And like, we all knew this day was coming, it's already came, it was 2 years ago. when
Sure.
People started coming in. So now it's like, well, I'll give you an example, like, and I know I'm way over on my time. but
yeah,
If somebody had said to me, what would your plan be if, you were gonna, for the next 6 years, and we knew something was gonna be built, but it wasn't gonna be built Toll Brothers for another 5. Okay, well, it's gonna increase the population by this much. We have anthology, it's gonna increase this much. We're gonna put on 1 police officer every 3 years for the next 9 years.
yeah,
And then we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And unfortunately now, we're here
Yeah.
and we still have the calls coming in and we need cruises to get to the calls.
I get it. Any final thoughts? Chief, thank you very much
Thank
for walking us through this. Hey, if it's possible, can that presentation, can you send that to Amanda?
Absolutely.
So we can take a look at it and digest it some more?
The PowerPoint,
Yeah,
you got it.
yeah,
Thank you.
that'd be great. Thank you very much. All right.
You look good in the football game, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
Get NIL.
He's still not a celebrity.
Get NIL.
How we doing, Chief?
Fabulous, how are you?
Good, thank you for bearing with us as we kind of had some good questions there in that last round with the police, but the time is yours now. Yeah, of course,
Still waiting for the chief to stop sharing.
I know. That IT issue.
He's just clogging us up.
The dial-up connection we have.
Yeah. Just back it up.
By the way, chief, I noticed the fire truck come blazing out of the fire station on my way to the meeting tonight, so that was good timing.
I love the fun of waving out. We will talk about it because it's very relevant right now. And believe me, I'm not starting the calls, but they're on their 5th call since I showed up at 7:30.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And I can show you. if you
Yeah.
wanted to see.
You know, just, no, we believe you. It's, just walk us through.
It is interesting, so we'll get.
Yeah,
All right, thank you for having me, Chief Fire Department. I know many of you, sat through this already once, so I hope not to bore you. And two, you're gonna hear a lot of the same stuff you just heard from the police chief. And I think he stole some of my slides, but that's okay.
They were outdated.
Yeah. So, the fire department.
Yeah.
Real quick, our staffing, one full-time chief. Last year, we were lucky enough to get that, full-time captain EMS coordinator, which has been a great addition. It's helped us a ton with the, code compliance. It's helped us with staffing because it's the fifth person on during the day to help us with the, call volume. We have 4 full-time lieutenants, 12 full-time firefighter EMT paramedics, and 8 on-call firefighter EMTs. You can see our schedules, our rotations, and how we use our call members, and we'll have a deeper discussion about that a little bit later on. Our functions, again, just about everybody knows, what the fire department does: fires, medical emergencies, motor vehicle accidents, animal rescues. Your basement's flooded, you call the fire department. Right down to you got an animal stuck in a tree, yep, we still do that if we have to. Why we do it? Because then you don't go up a ladder and we're not rescuing you, and that has happened. But it's true, we say we're the Swiss Army knife, when you need something done and you just, who am I gonna call? You call us and we'll take care of it. We've seen, such a big increase in calls for service. People just need a lot of help lately. And this time last year, we were, I think, on our 4th structure fire in a year. So when people say, oh, fires have gone down, I'll debate that. Last year, Millis Fire responded in town and mutual aid to 16 working structure fires. And that's a busy year for everybody. So those are up, including medicals, which you will see.
And that's mutual aid versus all, those were 16 structural fires in Millis, were they?
No, so in town and mutual aid.
Okay, can you just explain what mutual aid is for
Sure.
everybody?
So we have an agreement with our local communities, contiguous communities, that we will provide mutual aid, which means we will go there to help them, and then when we need it, they will come and help us. We, that is a statewide thing. We'll go anywhere in the state for mutual aid if needed. We're on task force for ambulance and fire engines, so we've gone as far as Springfield if needed. Lately, Brockton, they had a hospital evacuation, we were there. Nursing home in Sudbury, we were there. So we really go all over. Our mutual aid, because all the communities around us are in the same boat, and we've talked about this for years. We've had this discussion with mutual aid. It's up, they're struggling to staff, so when they get to their 3rd medical, we're there, which adds to ours because we're already dealing with our medicals or calls. But everybody's trying to do the same thing, is just make sure they can provide the service. I always show this one just because it's one of the things I'm most proud of. We're big in the community. It's the most important thing to us, besides, taking care of you when you're sick or you need us for an emergency. Being part of the community, getting out there. These are just a few of the things that the fire department does every year. And like I said, it's really, for me, it's a badge of honor. We love being out there. So real quick, just to jump into the spending highlights, because it's a lot like the chief. Most of it is under the collective bargaining agreement. A lot of that is out of our hands. Not much that I can do if the contract says something. We talk about overtime. And I always say, we use historic data to show why we're asking for what we're asking for. So that's usually the number you see. As you can see, usually when we're asking for it, we're given a number that's much less than most people need. The biggest thing I like to show is the highlighted areas. Again, I challenged the select board, I'll challenge you to find another department in town that funds $1 million of their budget and covers that much staffing. You will not. So that is funded by ambulance revenue. You will see under call wages that there's a big jump, $83,000. We're gonna get to that. That's one of our above level funding requests. So I'll take any questions on the salaries.
Yes, before we get there, can you just also explain, just for everybody and a refresher, the ambulance and the funding and how it
Yeah, so that's another slide.
is? Okay, thank you. All right, Heidi, thank you. I was looking for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Was that your question as well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
yeah, so we're coming to that.
Any questions on the slide? Nope, I think we're good. Thank you.
So we're gonna jump into call volume, because like the chief said, it's growing and it's growing fast. So in 2018, it was the last time the town hired 3 firefighter paramedics that helped us get to the level of ALS. In 2019, I received $1 million grant that I was able to hire 4 more. And then when that grant expired, the big question was, how do we fund it? Ambulance revenue was the answer, and that's what we've done since then. So since 2018, the town taxpayers have not paid for a firefighter. Even this last position that we got last year was again funded from ambulance revenue. When we get to that, you'll see we don't have much more to go. So any more staff and I cannot take out of there. So the biggest number for me, and again, the chief went back to 2012. I don't need to. I went back to 2019. Over the last 7 years, our call volume has increased 82%, more than 1,000 calls a year over what we've done back then. You can see in 2019, we were doing about 1,400 calls with 16 full-time firefighters and 14 on call. In 2025, we jumped to 2,567 calls, still with the same, we have that 1 more captain, 17 full-time firefighters, but our big problem is we've dropped down to 8 on-call members. And we'll get into that. So I'll take any questions on call volume, and staffing, if you have any.
I think we're good.
So the big thing that we base staffing on, and we've always done, is through NFPA 17 standard on staffing. It's a National Fire Protection Agency. They set the minimum staffing. One of the select board members asked, how is that fair? Because Millis is different than other communities. Well, it's the minimum standard. This is what they're saying needs to arrive for an emergency at your home within the first 4 minutes, and that's 4 firefighters. So, Mr. Berube, when you say, what do you worry about? That's what I worry about. 24 hours a day, 365, I worry, can I get enough people to your house for whatever call you're calling for? That's what keeps me up at night. That's what keeps me going to the calls to make sure that we have the staff going there. And that's where our police officers help out, is that when we're 3 medicals deep and I have nobody to go to the next medical, except for maybe 1 and wait on a mutual aid ambulance, our police officers are there. They're required to come to those calls because of the danger of now, this day and age. Every call we go to has the tendency to turn into, an assault. Our firefighters are trying to make sure we're taking care of somebody. We have family members who are upset. Mental illness, like I've said, you can watch the last 5 years of my presentation, is our biggest problem in the United States, and it's just getting worse. So when we go to these calls, we need a police officer there really just to make sure that we're safe, make sure that our everybody's protected and we don't have any issues. When we talk about going up to 125 Dover Road Anthology, they have a whole wing that's for memory care. Every time we walk through those doors, that's a secured unit. Every time we walk through that door, there's potential of an assault. Unfortunately, those patients just don't understand what's going on. And when we say you have to come with us and we try to assist them onto a bed and then we put seatbelts on them, it becomes a problem. Our police officers are there to make sure to help us out. And every time, there's been multiple times we've had firefighters bit, we've had police officers have to help us restrain. So yes, we need them on every call because we just don't know what we're gonna deal with. So we base ours on this NFPA standard. Currently, we meet it, and our call members help us achieve that a lot of times. A lot of the communities around us, we use each other to meet the standard. Because if I have 2 ambulances out of town, I don't know what I have in. I'm hoping that my staffing that's coming back is gonna be able to handle that next call. But if they can't, we have great agreements with our mutual aid communities that they're coming to support us. The biggest thing we have is that there's this 2-in, 2-out rule. If we arrive to a structure fire, I can't send anybody in that house until I have enough people to rescue them. So if I send 2 people in, I have to have 2 people outside, ready to go to rescue them in case of an emergency. That could be a delay of those firefighters going in to rescue somebody. So again, we've worked this out. We have a great system in place, but it's getting harder. We're really strained on the call volume and how many people we're able to get back.
Go ahead, Mike, yeah.
So, with respect to, sending your folks out there and everything, oh, sorry. I love it. What do you think you absolutely need when, I mean, when you send somebody out to a fire?
Yep.
How many firemen do you actually need at that particular location?
So for a typical house fire, so we say that it takes 3 members to man the hose line to go in, plus somebody to drive that. That's your 4. Then we need that secondary staff to come in to help to support them if we need to rescue, but also to operate the ladder truck if we need to have vertical ventilation and cut a hole in the roof, make a rescue from the 2nd floor. You know, so when they're saying 15 to 17 firefighters, that's what we're looking for. And I'm gonna knock on wood because we have such a dedicated department and we require everybody to live in town. That we're getting these people back quickly, so that we're able to accomplish the goals. But it's, like I said, it's getting harder.
And speaking about getting people back, well, your ambulance, what's the closest hospital you're bringing most of your patients to these days?
So Millis is really weird. We're 11 miles from most of our hospitals, Framingham, Milford, Beth Israel, Needham is like 12, Newton Wellesley's a little bit longer. Our biggest problem right now is that many of these hospitals are so inundated with what they call boarders, people who are there that they can't get a room.
Sure.
That we're being required just to go right into Worcester or into Boston.
Wow.
A lot of these hospitals that have shut down, you know, Norwood, they had equipment that we could take there for stroke. Right now, our only stroke entry point is Framingham. It's also our cardiac entry point. Framingham, when you walk in there, our guys, we say sit on the wall for 30, 45 minutes waiting to put a patient in a room. That's 30 or 45 minutes that they're out of town. So a lot of times, the extra 15 minutes to go into the city, they might get a quicker turnaround. So we're seeing a lot of transports into the city.
So what do you think your average turnaround is, for ambulance?
So it's about 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yep, yep. That's why when I say, you know, we said those 5 calls, they're on their 12th call in about 12 hours. You know, so you think about a 2-hour call, they're coming back into town going on the next call. And again, it's just picking up. So like the chief said, I have some more numbers coming up. The only other area that we're mandated by is OSHA. I always say, I tell the select board what we need. Because something was to happen and they put that camera in my face, I'm gonna say, I've been asking, I've been telling, I'm gonna protect the town as much as I can, but I'm also gonna protect me and my department. So we make you aware of it and we figure out what we can do. You'll see I have some alternatives to staffing because I agree, the police department's been asking for years. We've been able to fund it through ambulance revenue and get to the staffing that I think we need. And like the chief said, years ago, when we saw this coming, we were telling board members, it's coming. And I argued with many of your board members and the select board, oh, it's not coming. Well, it's here.
Yeah.
And a couple slides coming up, you're gonna see there's more coming.
One last question, yes. With respect to mutual aid.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of years ago you answered this, but are we receiving more mutual aid or providing more mutual aid?
So it's swung. So before we were given a lot of mutual aid, not getting a lot in return. It's starting to swing. We're still providing more than we get, but we're getting a lot more than we used to.
Is most of that ambulance?
Most of it's ambulance, yeah. So on a daily basis, we're probably getting 2 mutual aid ambulances a day, and we're probably going out the same 2 or 3 times.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Joyce.
This is just a comment or an observation. I'm, as far as for the police as well as the fire department, and I hate to use the word assuming, but our population is getting older, so I'm assuming that a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're aging and that our population of seniors is now 34%.
Yeah, so the senior population keeps going up and we have communities that are dedicated to them. So we go to those populations a lot. But I will say, the newer population, requires, ambulances a lot more than we expected,
Which population?
the younger population.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of that because, you wait a year to see a doctor, you have a hard time getting into the, can't go to a urgent care. I'll call an ambulance and they'll get me into the door, and that happens a lot.
Interesting.
Oh,
Go ahead, Pete.
Thank you. Years ago, when we were talking about ambulance revenue, I believe, Medway had not and wasn't even really pursuing. We were way ahead on ALS.
Yep.
Do you know where they are?
So Medway is just taken off. Their community is gigantic. Their call volume is through the roof and their staffing has gone through the roof. So we were neck and neck with them. We were both running at 4 shift. They're currently at 6. And they're not funding with ambulance revenue. They have a lot different funding sources. You drive by them when you come into town from 495.
They are ALS certified there.
They are ALS certified, yep.
Yep.
So the towns that we, and I think what you're leading to a piece, some of the towns that we provide ALS to, Holliston, Sherman, we go as far as Dover if necessary, but our contiguous communities are all ALS and they provide that for us.
Do you see the revenue staying steady, declining, increasing? What do you project?
So we've always seen a 10 to 15% increase every year, until this year. We've seen many more, disputes for bills. People questioning bills, insurance companies denying payments, putting a lot back on,
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Is insurance paying?
yeah, so insurance has been tough. We're seeing a lot, I get a lot more requests for more information, which is shocking. We never did for years, and this year alone, we get inundated with, is this truly a medical emergency? That's where the hard part is when those people take the ambulance and an insurance company says, I don't think that's worth it. It's tough. The other problem is, on average, if we were to do a true ALS workup, it's a $3,000 bill to the insurance company. Medicare pays $300. We have a big population in town that is still on Medicare, so those calls, we're getting a much less rate, but we're still providing the high level service.
And for everyone here, including myself, can you just brief description of ALS versus non-ALS?
Sure. Yeah, so right now ALS, advanced life support, is the standard of care. We've moved to it, and really just about everybody in the state has as well. So ALS is your cardiac monitoring, your IVs, your medications. And where before it was, they called it EMT basic, and I was took offense because I was an EMT basic, and but you were more splinting, preparing, getting ready for ALS to come. We would use them from the hospital. When we made the jump, we saw a huge spike in the ambulance revenue jump right up because we do so many ALS calls. And to Pete's point, we're starting to see a little bit of a decline, and that's my concern.
Yeah.
Moving forward using ambulance revenue.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
So if I'm understanding correctly, something you would get $3,000 reimbursement for, Medicare is only reimbursing us or Millis
Yeah.
300?
Yes, yeah, that's the standard.
Whoa.
We've been part of many Medicare studies where they want you to prove what an ambulance call cost. And every time it's more than what we're getting, and they still make a judgment that it's about a $300.
And how's that compared to a private insurance versus Medicare?
Private insurance will pay the full,
Yeah.
the full rate, with,
Okay.
other than a copay.
Yeah.
wow.
So I have a follow-up too. So if the insurance companies are acting like that, or Medicare, I guess, do you have concerns about funding your salaries through something that might be a little unpredictable?
Yeah, so that's our biggest concern, and we've always kind of talked about that, is that at some point, we're gonna go past what the ambulance revenue can cover, and we're starting to see that this year. We have enough, but $1 million is a lot for a small community to every year fund. And we knew this going into it. Our goal was to hopefully carry it long enough to the point that eventually we could get some funding from the town so that we're not pulling so much. Years ago, there was a request that we try to buy an ambulance from it too. And believe me, I tried, but when you're paying for staff, you can't pay for capital as well.
Yeah.
So that was my whole point, was let me pay for one of the, I'd much rather buy an ambulance than $1 million a year. So that's where we are.
And sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you have any overage, like say your staffing is, I'll just make up a number, 500,000, and you get $1 million that comes in, are you able to retain that 500,000 in case like the next year it's lower?
Yep, that's how we've been able to do it. I don't know if it's the next letter or the one after, but that's how we do it. So we fill up the ambulance revenue, we cover at town meeting, we cover the cost for the staff. And whatever's left over starts us for the next year.
Okay.
And that's been carrying us for years. It helps us keep up with it. But again, that number's starting to get
Plateauing a little bit, yeah.
Just a final quick comment, I
Come
promise.
on, all right, go ahead.
Just kudos to you and Chief Sapphire for working so hard to get grants. You know, between the two departments, you really saved the town a lot of money.
And we try to because, and you'll see my whole budget, I'm trying to find ways that we can cut costs and make things work. Because we know how tight it is. I always say, the biggest thing is we're both taxpayers.
Yeah.
You don't have chiefs that are from out of town or out of state. We're here, we pay the taxes, our staff pays the taxes, so it's important to us that we're fiscally responsible as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing else,
Yeah,
just.
keep going, yeah.
Just a breakdown on the call volume. Again, I know, Mike, we talk a lot about our mutual aid, you know, and you can see that that number's big, 425 are going out of town. Our inspections are up. The biggest number that I think jumps out is that concurrent calls. So concurrent calls is when calls going on, another call comes in, and then another call comes in. So during this, I was checking notes, we had a medical call. The engine was up at 125 Dover Road. They left there, came back with other staffing, grabbed the other ambulance, went to the other call. While on that, a third call came in. And that's where it starts to get stressful. Like, how many calls can we get deep before I start to panic and say, what are we gonna do? Like I said, thankfully, our police department is going and at least starting until we can get there. And our on-call and, you know, the people that we pull in are coming in to staff the other, ambulances. Again, we only have two, so once there's two medicals, we're relying on mutual aid to come in and help us out. Everybody always says, when will there be a third? Maybe in 7 years, cause I'm gone in 6, you can worry about it. It ain't gonna be third mine. We don't have the room.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna try to figure out how to staff that, so. So that's the biggest number that's scaring me is those concurrent calls. It's a lot to try to, do that.
Do you remember what those concurrent calls were last year off the top of your
I
head?
think we were probably almost half that.
Yeah.
I think we were like 400
Okay.
roughly. You know, and again, another example, Friday, we were very busy. Myself alone, I did 3 medicals alone with the police, waiting for mutual aid. That should not happen. I tell my guys, if I'm doing a medical, we're in a bad shape, because I haven't done it in a long time, so we don't wanna do that. But rest assured.
Understood.
Fine. And again, inspections are up, just because, with all the building, that's going on. The chief had some stuff, again, I'm just gonna touch on it real quick, but I have a few more. You know, Stony Brook, the big thing is, they're proposing, you know, adding on 160 units. Union Street, we have 98 there in the planning. 1178 Main Street, you know, is Hammond Lane near the bowling alley, they're approved for 48. Woodlands, Cottage Ave, that's approved, that's a big one, that's a whole neighborhood.
Where's that?
So Cottage Ave, it's, come to the end of Village Street, 109.
Yeah.
You look directly across, all the woods back there that lead up to the transfer station.
Yeah.
Is a neighborhood, 3 roads, 48 homes,
Yeah.
that has been approved and it's starting to move forward. Gateway Millis, down on Ridge Street is 90%, I'm sorry, on Main Street, 90% complete, we have final to complete there. Call Knoll, you know, that's across the street from Tractor Supply. Emerson Place, that's Ridge Street. 1060 Main Street, they're about to start filling up, we've been working with the contractor. He has people lined up, they're actually backing out because it's taking too long to open up, but he has people ready to go. Village Street has a small community, up off of behind Acorn Street, about 13. And then I know the town's in discussion with Millis Housing to add 50 units. 1280 Main Street, this is a new one. This is across the street from Tractor Supply to the left. There was a commercial company there that we have some solar panels back there, then a commercial company that stored some equipment there. That's up for sale, and we've actually met with the contractor, and he was looking to put in about 100 units, a small community in there as well. And then 34 Bridge Street, that's a 40B project up near 125 Dover Road. That's 40B, that's in the discussion planning. I think it's just got approved through the state, so now we'll be in the town very shortly. So that's another 32.
It's the total.
Yeah, what's, I'm curious too.
4, 5, 6, 600.
And that's, again, that's the stuff that,
Yeah.
that's the stuff that's on the books, that's not people, that's
Units.
and that's the stuff that we have on the books. We hear word about stuff that's coming and, you know, up in your,
Yeah.
we know things that are coming, so these are the ones that we know. The other thing is, we have the same thing in other communities. Medway they're just growing crazy. Medfield, our big concern, Medfield is the state hospital property. If that becomes housing, Medfield will not be able to handle it. We'll be there, an awful lot. So again, I use Medway because if you've got up there where Burger King was, all that's all been sold. And there's a 300 unit project that's gonna go in there with some commercial on the first floor. Again, there's only so much Medway can do, and we'll be there a lot more as well. So it's not just us, it's.
Yep.
around us. Any questions on upcoming projects or growth?
I think we're good.
So my request is, again, trying to figure out how to get staffing without killing the budget.
Yeah.
The biggest problem we've had with our call department is a lot of these people, all of them have full-time jobs. So they come to the fire department after they're done with their day and they have to respond after 6 PM to 6 AM in the morning. Well, it used to be they did 3 to 5 calls a week. You know, now it's 3 to 5 calls a night in a 12-hour shift. Then they're trying to go to work the next day, and then they're having to do it again in a couple of days. We've lost a lot. We went from 14 to 8. Our other problem is that we groom really good firefighters, and they're all getting hired at other places. We've lost them to Westwood, to Wellesley. We've lost them to Franklin. We've lost them to Norfolk. And it's just because we don't have the positions open right now. So it's been very tough. So what I'd like to do, and it helps them adjust a little bit better, and we started doing it in December on kind of on a trial basis. It's rather than them being at home and calling them in and hoping they can get here to help us out. We have them in the station. They stay in the station overnight, they're paid, and they're our 5th on the shift. And what we've seen, not even just morale wise, but efficiency, we're able to staff both those ambulances, not have to call back as much. And we get, you know, things out the door very, very quick. So my request is to up the on-call budget, which I think I read, yeah. Up it to 183,000. Currently it's at 100,000, so it'll be an increase of 83,000. The big things I like to show is that they already have all their equipment, they're already trained, they have the uniforms, there's no union contracts, and they don't require benefits or insurance. So it's strictly just the 83,000 to cover their salaries while they're in helping us. If we were to hire the 4 full-time firefighters to get us to 5 members a shift, which we need, you know, we're looking at another $500,000, which he's trying to get 2,
Right.
you know, so.
Right.
For me, this just seemed to work. And again, I think it's good for the department. It helps us cover, you know, I think it's a stopgap for right now. Eventually, I will be coming looking for staff because 5 is gonna be probably not enough, and we'll be looking like Medway for 6 in 3 years. So we have to get a plan in place to move forward. But for this year, this is my request.
Question? I have a question.
Sure.
Maybe for the town administrator. So in the last slide of police, you said the above level service wasn't included in the budget, but it looks like maybe you did include this in the
I
budget?
did, I threw the 83 in, yep.
Okay. Is there a right or wrong way from an accounting standpoint? That's probably a question for Jody, but maybe we'll do a follow-up and ask Jody. We're paying attention, we just want to confirm, that's all.
Yeah, for me,
Yep.
it was just, it's not 500,000, so I included it so you can see.
Yeah.
The impact on the budget.
Gotcha.
Well, basically, it's already people you have, you're just
Already people
increasing their wages.
Yeah, that's it. Increasing
true.
the time that they're there. It's not a pay raise, it's just they're there longer.
Right.
again, we've dropped from 14 to 8, so we're in the process of right now of trying to get some more call firefighters and get them trained up. But I always say those are the future. You know, we just did a round of interviews for a full-time position that's open from somebody who went to Franklin. Candidate pool's real shallow. We got 22 applicants that I wouldn't hire as call firefighters. It was tough. So we've always invested in our people. We've always hired from our call department. We know them. They know us, and there's no risk, and it's worked out amazing for us. That's my goal, is to try to build that up. So eventually, when we're ready to hire, I can just pull those people in.
Gotcha. Could you,
You had a slide on revenue?
Right now,
There you go.
see, you asked for it.
this is what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Is
So
it,
again,
is it
it's changed a little bit.
is it possible for you to blow that up just a tad for us?
Out of the thing.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different this year because just of how it's been broken down, but you can see, you know, from 2021, we brought in 455,000. And then 2025, we brought in 912,000. So again, it fills up, then it's drained, then it fills back up. So right now, July 1st, the balance was $1.1 million. Then that $957,000 was taken out to cover staff. That brings us down. So right now, our balance is that was as of December, 580,000. So to your question, it will just be added on top of that, but then again, drained down.
Yeah.
The big thing is that we're seeing those numbers go a little bit low, and if you, I know it's probably tough to see, but if you look at some of the collections, you know, last year in July, we collected 78,000. This year was 64,000. So we're starting to see that problem we talked about with insurance, is that we're taking less and less. You know, and the big thing about ambulance collections is when they send the bill, it's whenever the person pays it. So if the insurance company takes 3 months to pay it, it might not show up until February.
Yeah.
So it's not like whatever we get for January is all the calls in January. That could be a payment from 6 months ago.
Do all, on the municipal level, do all payments get paid, or is there a percentage of,
So it's
is there like a 5 or 10% that never get
I would
paid?
probably say it's high, probably about a 15%.
No kidding.
Yeah.
For anybody, right, in
Yeah.
town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the town has a process with our billing agency. They follow up with so many requests, they follow up with a collection notice. Unfortunately, a lot of people just don't pay.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Go ahead, Mike.
You said you can't purchase a fire engine, I mean, an ambulance out of it is for statutory reasons, or you don't?
No,
think you
no,
have the
no,
funding?
just for funding. Yeah, my
Right.
concern would be to drain this another $600,000 and then say, oh, take another 900 and cover staff. It's 1.5 million on something we're collecting 1.1, so it'd just be a little tough.
I'm going by memory, so I might be off. Don't we have an ambulance fund though?
That's this.
Is it-
Okay, I thought
We started-
I thought there was an additional.
So we started a separate one that we were gonna move money to try to do this.
Yeah,
But again, funding $1 million a
Yeah.
year, I can do one or the other.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Pete.
Nothing says you have to fund the full ambulance either.
right,
Right,
put a piece,
You can have a capital request and.
take a small shot.
yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
Did we recently transfer some money out of the ambulance fund back to the general fund?
We do that every year. So every year you take about $1 million and transfer it from ambulance revenue into the general fund and fund all the staff.
Salaries.
Gotcha.
They don't pay directly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, it doesn't come from.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't wanna, he's probably just gonna pull up the next slide if I ask her. When are the ambulances coming due for replacement, and what equipment have we already authorized or appropriated funds that you're still waiting for? If any.
So we're not waiting for any equipment. Again, Pete remembers, we waited 3.5 years for the fire engine. You know, and the ambulances are about 2 years out right now. So I do have a slide coming up. We'll get to that.
Thanks.
Real quick, just on expenses, not a whole lot of change. I reduced some areas, but again, with the increase, you know, everybody's telling us 5 to 8% on, you know, products that we're purchasing. So you see a little bit of an increase, $2,500 for equipment, $2,000 for the maintenance on the fire trucks, just because everything's costing us a little bit more. Usually what I try to do is, again, look at historical data. What did we use last year? What makes sense this year? So you'll see a little bit of increasing on those things. Supplies and expenses, again, 5 to 8%, and then the supply and repair. So that is our expenses.
Any questions on the fire budget? I had a question, but you answered it with the person moving up from the 100,000 to the 183,000.
Yeah, it's on the,
Yeah.
previous year.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Chief, when you base fuel, are you basing it on last year's figures?
Yeah, and that's what we try to do, is historically do what we did last year. Again, it's always a placeholder. We always end up going over. The DPW just kind of invoices us, and I think if you look at it, like in front of you.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you, given some of the things that are going on and so forth, do you ever anticipate higher figures and put them in?
So again, a lot of times what we do is, and this is kind of how it's been done for years, is, we put in a number knowing that it's probably gonna be over. A lot of times that's with overtime, so we put a number in as a placeholder, knowing that it's gonna go over. Fuel wise, we haven't been told anything, and again, that's all very recent, so fortunately, when we prepared this, we weren't in the situation we are now.
Gotcha. Any other final thoughts, questions?
Oh, we have a bunch more to go.
Keep on the budget, yeah. Keep going, keep rolling.
All right, so just non-tax money, these will be quick. Again, we talked about the grant funding that we have. Again, new construction plan review and inspections, and then permits and inspections. Those are the areas that we collect, that are non-tax funding that go into the budget, into the general fund. Every year, we always look to try to get you a number, and it's always difficult to kind of tie it down. It's something that we've been working on, to work with the finance director and Jen Scannell to get a good figure on how much are we collecting every year. That's what we're working on.
Excuse
Go ahead.
me. I have a question about the sheet that you had previously with all the numbers. Is that gonna be posted online? Is that gonna be posted
Part
online?
of this project, yeah, when I,
Yeah.
this, it'll be out there.
Okay, only because I'm getting messages from people, they can't see it.
It's tough to read, yeah, correct, it's tough to read, yeah. The presentation, Amanda will put it on, it'll go to the Millis website.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wanted that.
It's a short answer.
That would be what my answer would have been, but I wanted to make sure that my answer was correct.
Yeah.
The capital replacement worksheet, again, this is the one that we use with the capital committee. You will see that we'll be requesting SCBA bottles that were on there. Some of the things that are coming up, again, is A2 is, set for 29. That is when we would order it. And then really, we wouldn't be paying for it until 31, because if it takes 2 years, we would borrow the money in 29, but not need it until 31, and we've done that before. We try to do it out 10 years so that you can see all the bigger cost, and when they're expected to be replaced.
I know this is a question for capital planning, but have you guys migrated over to the new system yet, or?
No, not yet.
Okay,
It's in progress.
yeah.
So capital request, again, SCBA bottles that we talked about. It's been on the capital replacement plan for this year. For the last 5 years, we've kind of talked about it. Initially, we had it set for $150,000. But with the purchase of the new engine that we did, I was able to include 8 bottles and 4 packs. So that reduces our need down to 6 packs and 12 bottles of the department's 22. So rather than the 150,000, we're looking for $66,000.
Great.
The big thing is too, is unfortunately, we did these in stages, and in 2 years, we'll have to do the other half.
Yep, gotcha.
This one, we always love talking about unfunded mandates, from the state telling us that we now have to carry, infusion pumps on the ambulance, because longer transport times, but the bigger thing is medications. They're, requiring that we carry more and more, medications that are required to go through infusion pumps. So they've given us till the end of, the year to get these installed. for our next inspection, which is in November. So this request is for two of them, one for each ambulance, 7,000 each for a total of 15,376
That's new this year.
new this year. It's been something that's been debated through the state because of transport times. You know, most of our transport times are 20 minutes. Some of these medications will take a little bit longer. Well, now the new medications are 10 minutes, so they're saying you gotta put it in, you have to have the infusion pump. So it's been debated for a while, but the state Office of Emergency Medical Services kind of put their foot down and said it's time.
Gotcha. So it's a capital request for this year, but going forward, most likely will be a line item going forward as part of your budget, because it's gonna be required.
It'll go on the capital replacement plan.
Or capital replacement.
Yeah, I think the life expectancies on these, from what we've heard, is 8 to 10 years.
I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, so then that'll just be another piece of equipment that's on there.
Yeah.
with a replacement schedule.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
The third, again, just with the department growth and the needs, everybody thinks the fire station was done last year. That's right.
So true.
It's true. 9 years ago, again, it was the smallest project that we've done in town, and we built it for, like we always do, we built it for right then and what we needed then.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of room because we used the same footprint. So with the growth, we've found that we need some help. So one of the biggest things is a storage container. Right now, we have storage in the electrical closet, we have it in the IT room, we have it in any available spot in the building. Unfortunately, if I was to go into a business in town that had the storage in the electrical room, I'd be giving them a hard time about removing it. So at some point, we knew we had to do something. So I had been working with the town administrator and assistant town administrator on considering getting a storage container, either renting or buying. The school has used them before and it's helped them with some of their storage issues. So we decided on if we could do a 20-foot storage container with a door and a window and have it, somewhat climate controlled. We can put a lot of stuff in there that we don't need to have in the building, but have quick access to. And our goal was to utilize that storage container. And we have one from Norfolk County that we house for a tech rescue team. Take the two, set them up in a way that we can turn them also into a training prop, so they look like they're part of the department and not just a big container in the backyard. So we have plans to kind of do that. And then with the position of full-time captain, EMS coordinator, him and the department assistant share an office that used to be the gym. The gym is now in our forestry bay, and they split an office, as you can see in one of the pictures. So after reviewing everything and looking at it and just knowing that there's no appetite for an addition on the fire station. There's no appetite for any building project right now in town. So what could we do? What's the best thing that we could do that we could save some money? And said we could take our training room and we could turn it into 2 offices, and then we can take the current EMS coordinator's office, break it up into a couple bunk rooms and a locker room. And we can accomplish that all in-house using town electrician, using the town plumber, working with our building commissioner to oversee it. We think we can do the project we know we can do the project for about $30,000. I presented to capital committee, and I know they kind of put a hold on it and want to do a study. I think that would be a gigantic mistake. A study is going to be $100,000 plus. It's going to take a year to do, and it's going to take a year to go through all of you. Then it's going to get shot down, and then I'm 2 years out. And I still don't have a fix that I need today. This is a quick stopgap, again, $30,000 to get us to a point that eventually we will need to do a study at the fire station, and we will need to talk about an addition. But that'll be 15 years the building's been built, and people will kind of understand.
Good.
It's funny, I immediately thought of an ADU. Is there a possibility of, because you're thinking now, and we thought before.
Yep.
For the now. Perhaps going a bit bigger to accommodate other needs, since you're gonna need it air quality controlled and, I mean,
So.
I
the
know
thing
you're
I'm
trying to
thinking-
keep
I'm gonna
budget
be- I'm gonna be real
down.
honest right now. This is what I'm concerned about, is that if we do that, then we're in the boat of
Yeah.
300, 500, $700,000. And there's no, if you ask me what I need, this is what I need to get through right now. If you ask me what I want and what the department's gonna need in 5 years, we're looking at an addition. We're gonna need 3 more ambulance bays. So, you know, we're gonna need a bigger bunk room. We're
We're on
gonna
the
need.
Norfolk Fire Station built.
Well, we're not gonna go that big.
Right, but that's what happens.
What they did, yeah. I think the problem is that we always look at it and say, well, I wanna build for the future. This isn't that project. This project is, how do I get this to work for right now? How do I make it so I have 2 offices and a bunk room so I can have people stay overnight?
For $30,000,
$30,000.
To satisfy your need now and you buy your time of
Yeah.
next 1 to 5 years.
And I think a big example is Ms. Rosenfeld down at the train station. You look at how far she's been able to spread that funding by using locals and using people and doing stuff herself and having her brother help. Firefighters, we do all this.
Yeah.
And there's no reason we can't build 4 walls, have our town electrician who's licensed in the state and does all the projects in town, do the electrical. Have our plumber working on the sprinkler system and have our building commissioner who oversees it all.
Yeah.
Make sure it's done the right way.
Yeah.
And do it for a price that's an eighth of what we'd probably be looking at.
Agreed.
So I think if we miss on this and we go towards the study, it's probably something that doesn't work and we're 3 years out and we're back here
Doesn't make
again,
sense.
so that's where I am. Upcoming
Yeah.
capital replacements, we talked real quickly. You know, the ambulance needs to be replaced again. If we order it in 29, we're looking at 24, depending on what Mike kind of brought up about what's going on. It could stretch out how far ambulances are taking to get built, so we might be looking at it a little bit longer. A big one that's coming up is our cardiac monitors. Again, if we're surprised, we're 10 years into ALS. We feel like we just started it, but the monitors are only good for 10 years and they require a technology. For anybody that's in technology, the new cardiac monitors look like an iPad that's just attached to. We're still trying to get used to it, but they're very expensive, so that's what we're looking at. Again, trying to show you how we're doing things to save money. Last year, you approved some money to rebuild a brush truck. We're doing that. We're doing it for about $20,000. If we were to send that out, that's a $200,000 replacement, and that truck is gonna last the town another 10 years. Engine 5, for me and for the department, we're at the point where we're considering we don't need it. We're gonna retrofit this other brush truck. We have the new U2V. Our recommendation next year is probably gonna be to get rid of that truck and move on. The thing we're looking at is that one thing we're missing this winter, because of course it snowed crazy, is that brush truck had a plow on it, the one that's getting refurbished, and we would take care of our department, and we would plow our drivers and we would go to medicals. This snowstorm, the last 2 snowstorms have really shown how much we need a plow truck. Our DPW is doing the best they can, but they're short-staffed as well, and they don't have a lot of things. So one of the recommendations I'll be doing is getting rid of engine 5, the older car 3, the Tahoe, and try to get a pickup truck that can be, you know, a plow that we can handle and, you know, do stuff with. So that's something.
2 questions. Give us an update on the UTV.
ATV is great. We're really excited about it. We've already started to work with, as you know, World Cup's coming. So we've been talking with.
Foxborough.
If they pass. But again, Foxborough Police and Fire don't have a choice. They gotta prepare for it.
Yeah.
Because if it comes, they have to be ready. So we're already working with them because of response. We've already worked with Blue Hills to try to get on there if they need any assistance, our state. For us, it's been already, you know, it's winter, so we haven't needed a ton. The areas we found is we've used it shoveling hydrants rather than have a big truck or something taking up a whole lane. We go out in the UTV, they're able to shovel and get through the snow. During the snowstorm, we were able to have members that could go and check on people rather than take the big truck to some of the areas in town, so.
On that snow note, can you put a plow on that UTV?
We could if we needed to, yep, or snow blower or anything like that, yep. It's definitely something. We didn't do it on this again, just budgetary reasons. But it's definitely.
It could be an option in the future.
Yeah.
Questions?
Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh. Think you covered it all?
Want to shift to emergency management?
Sure, so emergency management, it's real straightforward. I don't have a presentation on it. The budget's very small. It's part of my salary, it's a stipend and $2,500 for equipment usage. So our emergency management is what we our local emergency planning committee. And it's we have meetings to discuss how we would deal with an emergency in town. We have all representatives from all areas, the school, town hall, DPW, Board of Health, Council on Aging. But a big one that we've been working on this year too, is just kind of planning on how we can better help our seniors during storms and stuff. And it's also our committee that works on sheltering. In these last couple storms, we did have some requests for sheltering that we had to work out. During the Stony Brook fire, that's when it really kicked in, when we had to house about 30 people for a couple hours. Our emergency planning committee did that. And so the money that we get from that helps us get equipment that we would need for housing or, you know, different sort of equipment for whatever kind of emergency that pops up. Again, we work with the police department on planning on a town-wide active shooter training, because we would need everybody in town, all the town boards to be part of it. We always say we're on a campus here. If anything happens at the schools, this town hall is gonna be ground zero and we're gonna need everybody here to help out. So we make sure they're trained as well. And over the last year, we were able to complete a hazard mitigation grant, working with Bob Weiss and MAPC. And then also work on our COOP plan, our continuing operations plan, that if something was to happen, who's the next person? And if it's not the next person, who's the third person? So everybody had to fill out some forms. We put the system together. It's probably about 350 pages, but it's been updated.
Nice.
It'll expire probably in 5 minutes and we'll have to do it again, but
For the time being.
we're on top of it right now. Yep.
Gotcha. Awesome, I think we're good on the emergencies front. Yeah, appreciate your time coming down
Thank you very
and
much.
walking us through everything. Always appreciate both of you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent
Thank you.
presentation.
Have a great night.
Thanks to you both.
Council on Aging. No, are you kidding? This is when we're at our best. Thank you for enduring all the first two presentations there.
Absolutely, we are very happy actually to be here tonight because we really enjoy working with our public safety officers and what they do for our seniors, so it was a really nice evening. Is that sharing? Right. Good. Okay, good evening, I'm Anne Marie Gagnon, the Council on Aging Director, and with me this evening I have our Council on Aging Chair, Elizabeth Derwin. Wanted her to join us this evening since our board is very active and this is a good night to have our support with us. So to get started, let's see. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, so have you been to the Council on Aging? I hope you have been. We're on the lower level of town hall. Yes, I appreciate that choice. We are here in service to our older adults, of which Joyce also mentioned as well over 30% of the town population. And those are folks who are over the age of 60. We run with a very small staff, just about 3.5 people, myself, who's 40 hours, an outreach coordinator at 35 hours, department assistant at 18, and a transportation coordinator / administrative receptionist at 16 hours a week. We have a driver pool that represents 3 paid drivers, and we have 1 volunteer driver and numerous volunteers who do everything from help us answer phones, do newsletters, run programs, design programs, and help with the overall welcome effort down there. So with that, in addition to having a nice, safe, welcoming place for our seniors to prevent isolation and add something to their day, so people aren't just sitting at home, and if they are at home, they can still call us and we are available to them. We offer, if you do come into the center, a variety of exercise programs, lifelong learning opportunities, over 100 events each month for people to participate in, meet with friends, come and have coffee, have a, again, a safe and welcoming place to spend some time. And that's really important as we all grow older, as we know. In addition to that, we have supportive services and counsel that we provide to folks in terms of resources, particularly if they're caring for older loved ones or other loved ones in their community. So we also address, younger family members as well and help them, find new ways of caretaking and direct them to resources. And of course, we offer transportation, which is paramount. So just a few slides that we have for you this evening. Obviously, it shows the Mill senior population is clearly growing, and how our seniors are more than 30% of our town population. If anybody here and anybody listening received our UMass gerontology survey, which we happened to do over the summer with an earmark, we're very happy to have those results. Everybody in town, 16 and over, should know now that there are senior services available and that we have the Council on Aging Senior Center available to them. We received a lot of great data with that, and we have some great points that are things that we already do, but mission critical areas that we will continue to work on.
I remember mentioning that our town meeting when that was going out. What was the response rate on that? Did it a lot of?
The response rate was huge. I mean, to have a survey that's over 10%, and I believe we were close to 15 or more.
Okay.
Maybe 20% even.
Yeah.
It was huge. We also did a comparison study because the earmark allowed for that to survey our friends in Medway as well. We were working with the Council on Aging there. So the survey is available online. If you look at an old previous select board meeting a few weeks ago, we had the researchers from UMass present their findings, and the goal of the survey was to get enough data then to talk more about shared services between our two towns. So that'll be one of the goals that we'll be working towards.
Great.
Okay. So this slide obviously is a couple of the things that we have. We have a lot of new things that have happened in the last year, which are great. We have had a lot of interest in more advanced games. So in terms of bridge and mahjong, we had our first mahjong tournament last fall. We had 36 players. We've another town, Stoughton, I believe, is one of the larger mahjong tournaments in the area. People came from there actually and played as well. And they're looking to have ours be nice and large. They were very encouraged, as were everybody who participated. So that's been great. Our bridge group is great. More groups that come together and play on a regular basis, and great friendships are formed. We have volunteer efforts around last year, I guess almost 2 years ago now. You've heard about our Sew and Stitch group. Joyce, who's serving with you, was instrumental in bringing people together to really learn new skills and come together around sewing and create a wonderful opportunity for people to gather together, share skills, learn new skills, and then ultimately create a product that they donate back to the community, to families and youth and other individuals who need comfort like that. So things like that keep popping up, that people come to us and say they want to try, that they want to help to develop. We're getting a really good sense of community there, and our numbers are showing it. Of course, the weekly exercise programs, we have something every day of the week. And then, of course, obviously our focus on service, everything from transportation to Medicare information training, food with our partner at Haskell Elder Services, SNAP benefit support, fuel assistance support. Our outreach worker is very busy helping to get people the services that they need or to point them in the right direction. And of course, our property tax workout program, which is critical to the folks in town who participate in that program to receive tax credit. So we thank you for that. Before I talk about transportation, yes, we'll talk about transportation. Just so my point of that's important is we see anywhere between some slow days 50 as much as 120 people a day downstairs for just about 3.5 staff people. And that long corridor, we have a lot of eyes on everything. We make sure everybody's safe, make sure everybody's having a good day. We have had a few medical incidents that we're happy to work with our partners to help with. But it's a big undertaking, and we want our folks who visit us to know that we are there for them and that we're happy to help as we can. I'm very proud of what my staff is able to do and, urge you to visit. But we want to talk about transportation tonight because I don't have a slide with our budget on it, but I know you have it in your packet. Our budget has been, other than salaries, has been level funded for the last few years. The one piece we want to talk about though is transportation, where there is a note about restoring our funding that was removed in June to help offset other parts of the budget, which we were fine to help with. But I'll just talk about transportation and the critical piece on that. Would you like to say something about transportation? Feel free.
Sure, so, Anne Marie mentioned, that UMass surveys that was done, and one of the key pieces of information that came back, and the questions that were posed are to seniors, what will prevent you from allowing you to age with a dignity and independence in your own home? And, transportation was a very high number. The number one thing was affordability, which wasn't a big surprise to us, a very tough kind of a thing to target. Transportation was number two. And this is transportation to medical appointments is kind of the primary one. But also, when you look at the data that we show, we take weekly trips down to Bellingham so people can get into either Walmart or to Market Basket. At Christmas time, it gets expanded a little bit to allow some people to do some Christmas shopping. So you're finding that older people in town are really relying on this as part of keeping their independence going. Some of you knew we have 3 vehicles. We have a 4-door sedan, we have a van, and then like a minibus. And we can use them, for different things. So the shopping trip down to Bellingham, that would certainly be a minibus type of a deal. Someone going to a medical appointment, we would use a sedan. The sedan allows people a lot of dignity. They're just, they're getting in an Uber, they're going someplace. So that's why the $10,000 that was cut is so critical to restoring that back. It's a direct answer to the information we heard right from our citizens in town as to how can people over 60 stay in their home, and this is what they need help with. But in addition to that, downstairs, we service some disabled people in town as well. And recently, a couple of families have come forward with adult disabled children. These people aren't over 60, but they're, young 20s living at home with their parents. These people also rely on this transportation as well, and it's independence for that community of people to be able to get, to medical appointments, to Roche Brothers if they have a job there. Maybe, they have a job someplace else local by, and they just need some help to make all of that work. So, Anne Marie talked a lot about, I think when people think about the senior center, they think a lot about what Anne Marie talked about with, games and exercise and with that. I think what some people don't realize that Anne Marie just touched on was all the services, things like fuel assistance and food stamps, Meals on Wheels. Those are also critical things to allow people to stay independent in their home. And then the transportation is a very important third part.
I have a shot in the dark question. Yes. And this is probably ignorant speaking, but is there any way to weave in high school kids to help out with the transportation? I know there's a long list of.
Do you have to be certified?
Contingencies.
Yeah. So the transportation piece, so when it was brought to my attention that we needed to help the town, we reduced our piece by $10,000. And knowing that we have a transportation revolving fund, which has been growing over the past many years because the rides that we provide, our ridership's asked to give a small donation, anywhere between $3 or $5, $6 up to $25 if you're going to Boston. And our folks are very happy to help with that. We do waive that on certain occasions. This is a suggested donation. Right now, we have already spent at the end of January the $10,000 allotment. I knew for sure we were gonna be at $24,000 for this year for sure. We will hit that transportation revolving account in the tune of $13,000. That's a really big hit to an account that would leave us with maybe $4,500 or so. you know, there's a small line for gas and oil, obviously general, there's a small line for repairs, but if we have a larger repair or something were to happen, or we need to buy tires on all of our vehicles, go over and lift on our, either of our van or our bus needs to have significant repair, I want to ensure that we have those dollars. That is why we're asking that that money be restored.
Makes sense? And go ahead, Pete.
I would just say, I mean, you have a good idea, and maybe the answer right off the bat is no, but maybe just veer, you know, alter that a little bit. The seniors do capstone projects every year, and they're always looking for, they do fundraisers, some of them do things for pets, some of them do things for mental illness or science projects. A fantastic project that I'm sure the community would come together if they knew about it, if they knew a need would be a fundraiser to raise funds for transport,
It's a great idea.
budget.
Like a senior project type of a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I can ask, if we're talking about staff salaries, that's where it becomes difficult.
And I don't mean to say that that should be
Yeah.
an alternative to what you're asking for. Frankly, I think $10,000 is budget dust. We're talking a $41 million budget. We should be able to come up with 10,000. It's not insignificant to most people, but I mean, you look at the entire town budget, we should be able to come up, just like we can come up with $30,000 for
Right.
a fire department project, we should be able to come up with 10.
Thank you.
And I'm not trying, I think I'm not trying to take away from any of it, but just searching for other
No.
options, yeah.
I mean, as it is already, just today I talked to my staff and the word already got out among people that, you know, Amory was looking to sort of rein in our rides and really look at what we were doing and try to shorten our wait times and take more people in places, which we look at on a regular basis. But now I know going into the fourth quarter, something that I've done anyway the last few years I hear is really look to tighten that up. And I talked to the transportation court, I talked to my drivers as well. You know, we pay our drivers also to clean off the cars when it snowed. Obviously, that was a couple $100, you know, wait time in Boston, if you're gonna go take somebody there, that's what we're paying for. We try to keep our vehicles clean, we get them detailed, those types of things, that's staff time going to drop those off. So it kind of runs into other things that I believe are important, but there are definitely things that I can change. Obviously, our primary goal is to continue this service. And we are continuing to look for ways to keep that tight, if you will.
Sounds like your need is now, it's before the
Oh,
27
yeah.
budget.
It is.
Your need is for the rest of the year.
It is. I mean, again, that, you know, we have a revolving account. That's what it's there for. It hasn't been touched in the years that I've been here. I'll be here almost 3 years. So I understand that that's a source of revenue. I think that is why that was actually asked of me, because that we knew we had the money. I don't have a problem doing that, but I definitely will scale it so that we don't spend all of it. I certainly don't want to raise fees on any of these people. You know, I'm not off to doing that. We know somebody may say that, well, there's this new Metro West Regional Transit Authority project that we're working on. We only just a few select board meetings ago were voted to just join them. We haven't been accepted yet, quite back to them yet. They haven't had their meeting. There's no plan or program in place. I think if I sit here a year from now, this conversation could be different and we could change the budget based on the activity that happens with that program. So you're right, my need is critical for now, and particularly for just the next fiscal year, and it could be revisited after that.
No, I was just gonna say the same thing she just said, because there's a tremendous need for this. And you don't wanna be saying no to people who have no other alternative. And you can only tighten it just so much. And then you don't have anything, so, and as Pete said, this is fairy dust, $10,000. I think that she's being very conservative with her request.
I appreciate your consideration, thank you. Other than that, though, if you look at the rest of our budget line, like I said, the staff salaries are just adjusted for contracts, I guess, and inflation, and then our general line in terms of the expenditures is the same. We just move money around in the accounts based on what we're gonna spend. We knew we were gonna go to as many meetings and conferences had changed year to year and put some money where we thought would be better spent. Okay.
Yep, pretty straightforward. Anyone have any other questions? No?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
So I am sure you guys are all over this, but I noticed that the MBTA reimbursement went from 11,000 to 46,000. Is that correct?
So that's also a conversation for Jody when she comes. It went to that, we changed the way that we report to them. The MBTA, there's only a few of us in the area who have to provide that report, and other towns were reporting it differently and were including salaries and giving a really broad picture of what their program looked like. I was following what our predecessor had done, which didn't give such a complete picture. Therefore, you get that 48,000 is pretty much what it costs with my time, my staff time, my other staff hours, and what we're doing to provide that program. That though comes off of, maybe Mike might wanna address this.
My question specifically is, was that an increase in funding for you,
No.
or was that a decrease?
No,
The MBTA assessment is local aid that's taken away from us, by the state. So it's actually reduction of our state aid. So being a community that's, adjacent to a commuter rail over in Norfolk, the state assesses us a certain amount for that service, that we're adjacent to a town that provides a service that the residents of this town can utilize, because it's only about 4 miles from here. So every year, and it's beyond our control, every year they do an assessment of the town. And basically what they do is if they're giving the town, say, 3 million in local aid, they take that 48,000 or 55,000 away from that aid. It's a reduction.
So that was a reduction.
It's an offset of our.
That was my question. The way it was presented in the documents, I was like, yes, go COA, you got more money.
That's beyond our control, but what we're looking at and what the director had mentioned is that we're looking at the Metro West Regional Transit Authority to possibly provide some services to us that won't cost the town any additional money, because they actually utilize that cherry sheet offset. They can tap into it. So instead of us paying the money directly to the state as part of that reduction, we pay it to Metro West, and we get an actual service on it.
Great.
And that's why I believe Anne Marie was saying that this may be just for this year, it may be for the following year, but it's all only in the works right now. It just came to fruition about this money that the town gives, and it would be wonderful if it happens, but I don't think they voted on anything yet. I think it's just still in the baby steps. Bob Weiss and Anne Marie did a great presentation on it, but they're still, and the gentleman from the MBTA came to the select board and presented. However, it's still in the infancy stage, so nobody can count on that. It's just wonderful that we found that money, even though the money was there, but it was discovered that it could be used for possible future transportation. But the need for the money now for that $10,000 reinstatement is
Yeah, just
critical.
to touch upon that a little bit, and this time last year, Anne Marie and I had those discussions, and, knowing that fund was available, we simply decreased that with the idea that this is probably just a 1-year decrease, and it would go back to its former numbers. Whether the new, transportation program we're exploring with Metro West, to the extent that comes about, it might affect that, we don't know.
Right.
But, probably in the fall, we'll be able to talk about that with a little more clarity to kind of say how this might affect the FY 28 budget. But this year, we definitely support the money we added to that account.
Great. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
And do you have seniors taking advantage of the work off program?
Yes, we have 20 slots for property tax work off in the town. These council on aging actually utilizes about 5 or 6 of those people, and then the rest are throughout the town in different departments, the library and the town clerk's office, and they have been in the health department, they had been in the building department, their
Accounting.
account, right, in the treasurer collector, BPW,
Clerk's office.
clerks, right. So yes, they are, and that's a very welcome relief to the people who participate in that. They would gather around $2,000 for 133 hours of work over 9 months.
Great, and all 20 slots are filled.
All 20 slots are not filled. And we could put somebody in a slot, and we had somebody interested who decided not to participate. So if there is anybody out there who would like a slot still and might like to gather some hours towards their taxes, they should reach out to me. Because we would be prorated. Sometimes we have people who participated and get sick or, you know, don't no longer want to participate, and we just prorate them for the time that they have participated in the program.
But it's income limited, correct? You have to
qualify.
income qualified
We,
qualification.
it's first available for people who income qualify, and if we don't have enough income qualifiers, then it goes to above.
Okay.
Yes, we have a mix of both. It goes, but it's also really relegated around who has a good skill set for those departments as well. So there's different steps in terms of how we look, but yes, income is looked at first. Okay.
Anyone else?
That's it.
Okay. We have some really great things coming up in March, and our intergenerational projects I just want to touch on as people are listening. We have a great
Yeah.
PAL program with Clyde Brown. We had seniors who read Read Across America. We have, at the school, we have our high school chorus who's gonna sing for us on March 23rd. We have the high school art group coming to do a big watercolor project on March 30th. Those relationships are getting great, and it's St. Patrick's Day soon, right?
I'm gonna shine
There you
representative.
go.
A lot of good things happening there. We appreciate your support, and the seniors of the town do appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
Pen pal program I thought was really cool.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, the lady instrumental in that, you can ask her questions. Thank you.
No.
It's a great program.
Okay, so 3 different departments, moving on before we all expire. The Tri-County construction update, I have nothing to add. All I know that it's a 212-ish page document. I don't think there's really, I'll talk to select board and maybe Mike Kaczynski later, but I don't know if there's any, if we need any updates. So it's probably in process. Question is what,
Just whatever the cost.
so the impact, I think the doors will open a year out.
Schedule like when will we start, when will the town start getting the full bill of the construction, the bonding?
Oh,
Usually it's a year
good
after.
question.
I'd just like to hear.
Year after
As part of the update.
yeah, that's a great
Not
question.
just how much.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to minutes. So the minutes are updated the format a little bit here, work in progress. Where are the minutes? Minutes are, yes, go ahead.
Move that the committee vote to approve the minutes from February
11.
11 as written.
Second.
So a motion to approve the FinCom meeting minutes for the meeting on February 11th, and properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passed. Any abstain? Was everybody was here last time, so.
I think so.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's good. Any old business, new business? I don't have anything. Any liaison updates of any kind? Go
I
ahead, Joyce.
just, yeah, I just have one and, or a couple. Anne Marie already mentioned, we have a sign language program that just started as well downstairs. There's a Shine representative that has now come so that if anybody, is in need for Medicare assistance, she's well versed and she can help anyone who is on Medicare. Our first pen pal letter has been exchanged between Clyde Brown third grade and our seniors. We had 29 letters, and some of the kids actually wrote more than one. So because their class was 25, and we have a fundraiser that is in process. Some of you know about the Bear program, and what I did is so that people could see. I brought.
Show and tell.
This is show and tell. These are the bears this is an example of the bear, that we actually make downstairs, and it's the best quality you'll ever find. We have knitters and crocheters who do the sweaters.
It isn't.
We have cutters, we have people who do the sewing, we have people who do the stuffing. And now we've implemented, isn't that cute? We've just implemented, bunnies. And this is part of our fundraiser. We're doing a fundraiser currently, so that if anybody wants to purchase a bunny for the holiday, they can contact the Council on Aging, and then they will contact our Stitch and Sew group, and we'll have a variety. This is another one.
How much are they?
He's cute. if he's got if he's got a sweater, if you buy him without a sweater, he is 20, and if you wanna buy additional sweaters, they're $5 each, so we figure they're pretty affordable.
So you can buy a wardrobe.
You
for
could buy a wardrobe for them. The Bears, this is actually our charitable program. If people do wanna buy the Bears, though, we do sell them for $20. And it's great, but they go to foster care, family shelters, hospice, nursing homes, police, fire, an abundance of places
Yeah.
that are in need.
All good
Children's
places that need it,
Hospital,
yeah.
Children's Hospital. So this was the original. We started 2 years ago. We've distributed over 1,000 in the 2 years. We are looking for places to donate to. Aren't they cute? I know. We figure kids are gonna be holding them by their tails or by their
Could be.
ears, you know?
years, yeah.
But they're cute, and it's a great program. We've got probably 14 consistent that come on Mondays, probably 10 on Thursday, and then people who are outside of the facility are making sweaters or are cutting, and that's probably another 6 people. So it's a nice program.
Cool, nice,
It's awesome.
very nice.
So that's my news.
Thank you very much.
So if anybody in TV land wants to.
I don't have any thing to announce, but just as the schedules of the meetings come up, I'm gonna work with Amanda in terms of kind of making them robust like we did tonight a little bit. Some of the departments will be lesser, DPWs, we gotta get that involved. So just if you're gonna miss a meeting, just let me know ahead of time, that's all. I just get into my, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't wanna belabor this, but do
Yeah.
you have any insight into the plan you have to going to produce a budget that we can actually review?
I don't have an update as of right now, but I will be on it because May 4th is gonna be here before we know it. Yeah. I'll find out. Okay, said,
Move to adjourn?
we're gonna move to adjourn and second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
So everybody saw that exchange.
Yeah, that's all right. You just gotta make sure it gets into the register.
It will. It goes right to the friends.
I know.
You can buy more product.